from Lampson Stadium in Kennewick. It's the WIAA 4A Semifinals. Two teams and one ticket to Tacoma this afternoon. Mid-Columbia's Richland Bombers taking on a Skyview Storm out of the Greater St. Helens League. Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. My name is Brian Levitan, joined by Rob Jesselson. Now, Richland comes in, Rob, with a 12-0 record. They're perfect on the season. Skyview 9-3, but the Storm have played a brutal schedule.
Yeah, they really have. They're actually the only team in the Final Four in the 4A ranks that has a loss on the season so far. But as far as these two teams go, it's the second time in the last 4 seasons that they've met each other in the playoffs. So how did they get here? Well, last week it was Skyview who got past Lake Stevens 35-14. Their defense had 5 interceptions. Now, as far as Richland goes, of course, they got past Bothell. The defense also had a great day, had 4 takeaways, so it should be a good one tonight here in the semis.
The Storm playing some great football here in the postseason. They've reeled off 6 straight wins since their last loss to Camas, and one of the reasons why is their star wide receiver.
Jeremiah Wright. He is a guy that can hurt you in all different sorts of ways. He can hurt you with his speed. He's got great size, so he can also go up and catch the football. Last week he had a big day, had over 140 yards receiving to go along with 2 touchdowns. He's their number 1 weapon.
Now, the Richland Bombers do so many things well, both offensively and defensively, and it really starts up front with them.
Yeah, and especially the heart and soul of this team, Pregame Whitby. What a week he had. Earlier this week, the MCC named him the Defensive Player of the Year, also named him the Offensive Lineman of the Year for the MCC as well. He is a guy that can just do it all on both sides of the football.
Well, thanks, Rob. One more win, and the team that does win gets to go on to Tacoma and play for a 4A state championship. It's Richland and Skyview here at the Lamp, coming up right after this on SWX. Well, the Richland Bombers back in the 4A semifinals for the 2nd straight year and got a nice send-off here on their way to the stadium. Team boarded a bus and had fans waiting outside the school, offering a little encouragement. Cool, calm, and collected. Looking ready with their equipment bags. Pretty cool deal with the cheerleaders lining the parking lot at Fran Risch Stadium as the bus is headed out onto Wellsian Way. Got a police escort. Kind of a big deal, these Richland Bombers. And look at the fans out on Wellsian Way wishing him well. And there you see, in the green and gold unis, the Richland Bombers, 12-0 on the season. Mid-Columbia Conference champs. Coming off an emphatic win over Bothell, 49-28 last week on this very same field. On the other side is Skyview, a Storm, 9-3 on the season, but those 3 losses to 3 teams that are still alive in the 3A and 4A state playoffs in O'Day, Camas, and Eastside Catholic. So this Skyview team has played a tough schedule, and they'll be a force to be reckoned with. Bombers, of course, coached by Mike Neidhold, the Mid-Columbia Conference Coach of the Year. Skyview coached by Steve Kaiser in his 13th season. What a great job he's done in the very difficult Greater St. Helens League, one of the toughest conferences in all of Washington. Brian Levitan alongside Rob Jesselson for this afternoon's 4A semifinal matchup in the WIAA playoffs. I want to welcome our viewers who are watching via live stream on the WIAA site, and also want to thank the WIAA for allowing SWX to broadcast this game. It's going to be a great matchup. Beautiful fall afternoon, a little chilly, probably about 45, 50 degrees, and Rob, going to be a great football game, and probably the team that turns the ball over the least and doesn't make those killer mistakes with penalties, probably going to win.
Yeah, you talk about, a game of this magnitude with a trip to the state title on the line. Like you said, the team that makes the least mistakes, it's likely that they're going to come out on top. Both of these teams did a great job last week in their quarterfinal wins of taking the ball away. It was Skyview who had 5 interceptions in that game against Lake Stevens. Meanwhile, Richland had 3 to go along with a fumble recovery. And both of these teams are going to have to repeat what they did last week.
Well, the opening kickoff for this afternoon's game brought to you by Holiday Inn Express out of Richland. Bombers will receive to start things out. Travis Yako kicking off for the Storm. Short kick bounces at the 16, fielded on the hop by Gavin Brasker. Spins away from a tackle, and he's got room to the near side. Brasker across the 50. Brasker one man to beat, and he gets pushed out at the 35-yard line. Gavin Brasker, easily the fastest guy on this Bomber squad, and boy, he is a kamikaze when he tries to return kicks. Looks like we have a flag on the field. And a hold against the Bombers from the spot. Going to back them up 10 yards. So they'll actually get the ball, looks like, at the 45, if my math is right. Still a pretty nice return, considering Brasker, Rob, was almost wrapped up at the 20.
Yeah, what a return that was by Gavin Brasker. Unfortunately, it's going to be negated by a holding penalty, but even with it, still great starting position at their own 45.
Boy, looking at the matchup up front in the trenches is going to be key as the Bombers begin the first series of the football game. Handoff is to Ben Stanfield, and he gets about 4 yards on first down. Let's take a look at some of the offensive impact players for the Richland Bombers. They have so many weapons. Of course, their quarterback, Paxton Stevens, with 30 touchdown passes. Stanfield and McCary, dynamic duo at running back, and Alex Chapman, one of many weapons on the outside of wide receiver.
Stanfield and McCary accounting for 6 touchdowns last week in Richland's win over Bothell.
Stanfield needs just 80 yards to reach the 1,000-yard mark on the season. He gets the pitch, and he takes it into Skyview territory for Richland first down, tackled by Javon Sewell. Take a look at the impact players on defense for Skyview. Shirea Stuckett and Jaden Chapman. They'll be big forces up front. Also Austin Nolan, Angelo Sarchi.
Duckett, one of the top players out of the Skyview Conference, the Greater St. Helens League.
Again to Stanfield. Turns the corner. Got tripped up, but still able to carry himself forward for a 4-yard pickup. Bring up second down and 6. Bombers wanted to go to the run and make sure they could establish that. That's something Coach Neidhold told us during the week, and it looks like they've stuck to that game plan and had some success.
Well, and why not? I mean, if it worked last week, why go to the air, you know? And especially early in the game, if you are able to establish the run, then that'll open up the pass maybe later on.
Stanfield up the middle, big hole, and he's going to go the distance. Ben Stanfield, 37-yard run. And the Bombers strike first. It's 6-0.
What a powerful run from Ben Stanfield. Straight give right through the wickets, and he is gone. Nobody touches him on his way into the end zone. What a start for Richland.
Got to give a little props to that offensive line, too, because it was like the Red Sea parting, and he just took off like a dart. Extra point by Adam Weisenfeld splits the uprights to make it 7-0. Richland taking the early lead here in the 4A semifinals. Of course, the Bombers, Rob, back in the semifinals for the second straight season. Last time they did that, I think it was 35 years ago in 80-81. And the second time they made it back to the semis, back in 80-81, they won their first state championship. As they take another look there at the Stanfield run.
Yeah, we got to give credit to the right side of that offensive line. Colton Michaels and Eric Davison, they just made a huge hole for Ben Stanfield to get through. An elephant could have gotten through that hole. What a start for the Bombers. Exactly how they wanted to begin this game. And they're up on Skyview.
Well, Ben Stanfield is... This is a kid who grew up around the Richland football program, always wanted to be a Bomber football player, and didn't get a chance to play until this season. Called quite a few Richland games last year, and he did not get on the field. And he has just asserted himself as a running back, especially with the loss of Lakota Wills, who's now playing at Air Force. He has provided some stability in the run game along with the junior Parker McCary.
And we talked about how we needed 84 yards this game to reach that 1,000-yard mark, and he's approaching it.
He might get it in the first quarter. And the kick from Weisenfels fielded at the 20. And not much doing there for the Skyview Storm. Huge specials teams play there by Caleb Chapman. Take a look at the impact players on offense for the Storm. Brody Barnum, their quarterback. He, of course, the son of Bruce Barnum, the head coach of the Portland State football team. Devon Green come on at running back after the hip injury to Hayden Frober. And, of course, Jeremiah Wright, we mentioned in the pregame at wide receiver. Barnum passing on first down. He completes the pass to his tight end, Jaden Chapman. 13-yard gain. Defensive impact players for the Bombers. Brigham Whitby, the defensive lineman of the year in the Mid-Columbia Conference. Josh Mendoza back from a hand injury. Adam Weisenfels, one of the ball hawks in the secondary. And then Kyle Kirby, big factor also in the defensive backfield.
Yeah, Weisenfels led the Mid-Columbia Conference with 7 interceptions so far this season.
Quick dump-off pass. And able to weave his way through traffic, Cole Grossman gets about 6 yards. So a nice job by the Storm here after kind of getting hit in the mouth with the run game there of the Bombers. Moving the ball effectively here on their first offensive series.
Yeah, we see Barnum with a nice soft pass to his receiver there and bring up second and short.
Barnum really likes to spread it around. Hand off to Devon Green. First run play by the Storm, and Green will get the first down. Devon Green is small, very athletic, and he is, after the hip injury to Hayden Frober, who was their horse early on in the season, he has come on and kind of taken over that number 1 role.
Yeah, in the last 2 postseason games for Skyview, Green has averaged 120 yards on the ground, so he has been extremely productive.
Green again. This time he is bottled up. Great job of shaking off a blocker. Brigham Whitby brings him down.
Whitby, a guy that we talked about pregame this week, named the Mid-Columbia Conference Defensive Player of the Year. He's had a great season and starting tonight's game off on the right foot.
Yeah, he is the leader of the line, and coaches will say best player on the football field. Just knows exactly what he's supposed to be doing at all times. Barnum, his first designed run, and he gets cut down. Victor Strasser. He is just big and physical. Strasser had himself a football game last week against Bothell, and that quarterback of theirs, Jacob Sermon.
Nice bit of work there by Strasser, and as a result, it brings up 3rd and 10 for Skyview.
Yeah, key 3rd down and long. 3 receivers to the near side for Barnum. Play action over the middle. Grossman catches it, and he gets nailed right before the first down marker, but will they give him forward progress?
Looks like it's going to be close. Looks like it's going to be right on that line. Another quick slant we see from Barnum, and they're going to be close to a first down. Looks like they're going to come out and measure.
Yeah, Ryan Piper with a big hit there. That is awfully close. That might just be enough. It's amazing how much, as they bring out the chains here to measure, how much this Skyview offense resembles the Richland offense with the way they attack the field in so many different ways. You hear the Storm fans on the other side of the field cheering as they do get the first down. Looks like the pass was tipped, though, as you take a closer look at that replay, too. So Barnum just threading the needle to Grossman there. Second time those two have hooked up. Grossman, a big fella at 6'5", 190 pounds. And he's just a junior. Quick out pass through the hands of Jeremiah Wright. First time that Barnum's thrown in his direction.
And so far in this offensive drive, we've seen Skyview come out and throw the ball a lot, and really haven't been tough throws for Barnum so far. Quick, tight spirals he's been able to get off, and they've been driving the ball nicely.
Play clock down to 10 seconds. 2nd and 10. Quick out pass. Short-armed it. Looking for right again on near side. That'll be 3rd and 10. So a couple of quick incompletions here, and now the Storm's drive is in jeopardy.
Barnum looking for his favorite receiver these last 2 plays, those being Jeremiah Wright, and after that last one gave him a look like, I got you the next one.
Play action, and the pass was deflected back to Barnum, deflected by Brigham Whitby. They're going to rule it incomplete, and that'll be 4th down. Must have hit the ground or something, but Whitby's made a couple of big plays on this drive.
He sure has, playing with that new title of MCC's Defensive Player of the Year. Living up to it, and it looks like the Skyview offense could stay out on the field.
Yeah, they're going to go for it on 4th down here, but the punter is Brody Barnum, their quarterback. He's listed as their punter, so he might pooch it here. And it looks like he might just end up doing that. He was actually first-team all-league punter in the Greater St. Helens League, and that punt there, he can't quite get it to coffin corner. Goes into the end zone, and the Bombers will take over from their own 20-yard line. We're going to step aside. 7:21 to go in the first quarter, and it's 7-0 Richland for a semifinals in the WIAA playoffs. Be back right after this. See the Bomber faithful. They're bundled up, but cold weather hasn't put a freeze on their spirit. They have been loud and excited. So have the Skyview fans who have made the trek over the mountains from Vancouver, Washington. Want to welcome them here to Kennewick and Lampson Stadium. 1st down and 10, Bombers from their own 20, and a whistle before this one can get going. It looks like that'll be a false start. Back up Richland 5 yards. Well, the Bombers had quite a first offensive series set up by a terrific return by Gavin Brasker. Spotted at the 45 of Richland and then capped off by a 37-yard Ben Stanfield run. On 1st and 15, Parker McCary's first carry of the football game. He'll get about 4, and it's what the Bombers like to do is mix it up, Rob. A little bit of Stanfield and then go to McCary.
Yeah, it seems like they just kind of alternate running backs with each possession. One possession you might see Benny Stanfield like we did the first time around for Richland. This time looks like they're going to go with McCary. And Coach Neidhold says he likes to stick with whichever running back has the hot hand. And as of recently, Brian, seems like they both have had great success.
They've both been red hot. 3 yards on that first carry from McCary. Play action. Stevens wide open. Chapman makes the catch and breaks loose. Chapman still going up the middle. Chapman across the 30. Inside the 20 of Skyview. First big throw of the football game by Paxton Stevens. And it's a strike to his favorite target, Alex Chapman.
Take another look at this play. What a throw from Stevens. And then Chapman breaking all sorts of tackles as he gets downfield, picks up a block. And once again, the Richland offense is cooking.
Well, that's the reason why Alex Chapman was named a first-team All-MCC wide receiver. Big plays like that. Go back to McCary on 1st down. Across the 10, inside the 5, pushed out at the 4. And this Bomber offense is firing on all cylinders here in the first quarter. They're close to making it a 2-score lead.
Coach Neidholt sticking with McCary here. We saw him rush for a couple of touchdowns last week against Bothell. He's another hard runner for Richland.
Officially 66 yards on that Stevens to Chapman pass and catch. First and goal from the 5 and a whistle. So it'll be spotted at the 2.5-yard line, and Storm not doing themselves any favor. They definitely need their front line, their front four, to step up with a big play here. And they got some good ones in Javon Kelly, Shirea Stuckett, Cole Grossman, and Skylar Martin. Two backs. Hand off to McCary. He cuts through and into the end zone for the second touchdown of the game. And it's 13-0 Richland, both running backs with scores here in the first quarter.
And as we take another look, Parker McCary off that right side again. Coach Neidholt with the play calling. Lots of trust in that right side of the offensive line. Eric Davison and Colton Michaels, they are having a day making space on that right side.
Adam Weissenfels once again splits the uprights to make it 14-0 at the 5:57 mark of the first quarter. Well, the first drive was pretty much the Ben Stanfield show. The second drive was a blend of the pass and the run. Certainly the Stevens to Chapman 66-yard pass was the table setter, and then McCary there getting a nice pat on the shoulder from Mike Neidholt, the head coach. He finished it off with a 4-yard run, 2.5-yard run, excuse me. Yeah, like you said, just great blocking. This offensive line is just, the chemistry is pretty special here. You don't see this very often. See some of them there. Brigham Whitby.
Well, when you talk about the depth of those guys in the front five, the offensive line for Richland, we haven't really even mentioned the left side yet. That's made up of Brigham Whitby, the offensive lineman of the year for the MCC, and Dante Powell,
Dante Powell,
a Washington State commit.
Yeah, he's on his way to be a Cougar. They could have used him yesterday. Well, Coach Neidholt said that establishing the run, the same way they were committed to it against Bothell, even when they had a little bit of a slow start, they've been committed to it from the get-go here in this football game, and it's been working from the start and set up the pass beautifully as well. There is the kickoff after the score, fielded by James Millspaw. He takes it across the 20 to the 23. Now, Skyview fans do have to be encouraged with the way their offense was able to move the football for the most part on their first offensive series. They just had a couple of back-to-back incompletions, one of them a drop that stymied a drive at about the 40 or so of Richland.
Yeah, Brody Barnum was really doing a nice job of moving his offense down the field. Found Cole Grossman a few times, had an issue or two trying to find his favorite target in Jeremiah Wright, but you're right, Brian, they were having some success moving the football down the field the first time out.
Barnum, a very able quarterback, 23 touchdowns on the season as he hands it off, and they take it to the left side. It's Hayden Frober with his first carry of the football game. They'll use 3 different running backs as well as Barnum, so 4 different guys will run the football throughout the game here.
And Frober was really their workhorse for the first part of the season, dealing with a bit of a hip injury, and has seen his carries drop because of it.
Still has over 1,000 yards rushing despite that, so he's had a pretty darn good season. Devon Green back in at running back. They were going to hand it off, but it's whistled dead before the play can get going. So it'll remain second down and now be 2nd and 4 for Barnum in the Storm. Now Barnum's going to be a Cougar too, but he's going to be playing baseball. Coach Kaiser saying that his baseball skills have really helped him as a quarterback as he dumps it off here to Devon Green. That's one guy you don't want to let loose. And he's down the sideline, still moving. He's going to take it all the way. Devon Green, 71-yard run. And the Storm are back in business.
What a play here by Devon Green. Great blocking up front, and once he gets into the open field, there is no stopping him. Parker McCary had a chance, breaks a couple of tackles near the 15. And what a response from the Storm.
Jeremiah Wright, talking about him being a big play wide receiver, but he had a nice block there at the very end of that run on Ryan Piper that allowed Devon Green to take it all the way in. Skyview definitely needed that touchdown. That is a big shot in the arm. And the extra point is up and good as Wyatt Stallman boots it through. And it's 14-7. Devon Green, junior running back, one of many juniors on the Skyview team that have been big factors this season. And he has been huge in the postseason. As you said, Rob, averaging 120 yards rushing a game, but those little check down passes, if you forget about him, he is a lightning bolt.
Oh yeah, great blocking up front, and then uses his speed from there. Parker McCary, the running back that we've talked a lot about already, not even able to catch Mr. Green as he was just off to the races.
Yeah, 5'7", 150. He's fast and he's small, so he's easy to miss.
As we see Green getting a nice pat on the back from his head coach, Steve Kaiser.
This Skyview football team, I mean, they are one of the grittiest teams out there. Even their losses, you know, they lost to Eastside Catholic, O'Day, and Camas in every one of those football games. They lost 31-9 to Camas, but they were up 9-7 at halftime. O'Day, they got down early, ended up losing 35-32. Eastside Catholic, similar story there, where they were in that football game for a good chunk of it, right up until the fourth quarter. So even though Richland got 14 on them early, Bombers, I'm sure they know, and I'm sure Coach Neidhold reminding them if they forgot, that this Skyview team isn't going to go away easily. Short kick, fielded at the 25. Great opportunity for a return. Taken out to the 43 by Tyler Fishback.
Yeah, good job there by Tyler Fishback. Got a good push at the end as well.
And they've had to go to some other guys that they're not used to, with Josh Mendoza having that hand injury. He's got pins in his thumb. So Tyler Fishback, a junior, hasn't seen a lot of time. Step it up. Nice job on special teams.
Well, we've seen him at the end of games when Richland has been up a lot of points late in the fourth, and Fishback's always come in and done a nice job running the football at the RB spot.
Great starting field position for the Bombers. See if they can answer the first score of the game by Skyview. Handoff, and not much doing on that run play as Stanfield takes it up the middle. It'll be 2nd down and 8. See if the Storm have made some adjustments defensively here to better handle the Richland running attack. Still in the first quarter. Stanfield again. A little room as he cuts it back up the middle. And a flag on the play. Picks up about 4.
Yeah, there was a flag thrown immediately on the play.
So a sideline warning for the Bombers, but no penalty. Penalties were definitely a concern for Neithold this week. He said they had to be clean playing the Skyview team because Skyview just doesn't make a lot of mistakes, and they're big on takeaways, too.
Well, and last week against Bothell, Richland had an unusual amount of penalties as well.
That was the one part of that game that Neithold wanted them to clean up this week. Third and short. Stanfield trying to find a little room, has to cut it back. Boy, he's in trouble. And doesn't look like he'll get the first as he gets pushed back. First time that Skyview's defense has been able to stop the Richland offense. And perhaps the pendulum is shifting a little bit in Skyview's direction as far as momentum.
Well, give credits to the Skyview defense. Rushing to the football, able to bottle up a good runner in Ben Stanfield and keep him well short of the first down marker. That'll bring up 4th and 3.
Well, we know that Coach Neithold always likes to go for it on 4th down, but he'll do what I think the Storm do as well with Barnum, in that they'll pooch it. In this case, they do appear to be going for it on 4th and 3, but perhaps it'll be a pooch. Let's see. No, they are going to go for it. And Paxton Stevens will run, and he will not make it. Stopped at the 49-yard line. I believe it was Devon Green who tackled him. Big defensive stop on the Richland side of the field, and Skyview takes over.
Unbelievable play, once again, by the Skyview defense. Nice open field tackle, and a guy like Paxton Stevens, he is not easy to bring down. He's got great size.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, a huge turnover.
On downs,
yeah.
Interesting that they spotted at the 49 of Skyview. He was stopped clearly before the 50. 4 receivers for Barnum, and he's in trouble. They send the dogs, and down he goes. Brigham Whitby, Jax Lee. Jax Lee, another one of these Richland defenders that was named to the first team All Mid-Columbia Conference this week.
As we take another look, Richland bringing the house. Whitby and Lee. Kyle Kirby in there as well.
Yeah, Kyle Kirby likes to come around on the outside there. Safety blitz there, and he got there first and wrapped up Barnum's legs. It'll be 2nd down and 14. Hand off to Green. And he gets cut down at the original line of scrimmage by Strasser.
Nice tackle there by Strasser. Looked like Green had a little bit of room to run. He got up to that 2nd level.
Under 2 to go here in the first quarter.
So it'll be 3rd and 10 for Skyview.
3rd and 10. Looked like Barnum was changing the play. Play action. In trouble with pressure. Going deep for Jeremiah Wright. And it's caught. He out-muscles Alex Chapman for the catch. And he's brought down at the 5-yard line. Got a flag on the field.
A flag is thrown back near the line of scrimmage.
And a hold. A hold, so this one's coming back. Boy, that was a great catch by Wright. Basically a 50-50 ball, and it's all for naught. As a hold will bring it back, and Skyview will have to try again. Man.
What a catch there by Jeremiah Wright, showing us now why he's got a lot of attention from Pac-12 schools. As we see the holding call made there, he is a guy that has come up huge, especially when it's mattered the most here in the postseason. A few weeks ago against Olympia, had 11 catches for over 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. And Brian, he went up against one of the top corners in the MCC and Alex Chapman on that play.
Yeah, got a little bit of a height advantage on him, and a great catch, but instead of 1st and goal from the 5, it's going to be 3rd and 22 from their own 37. They pitch it back, flea flicker to Barnum, going deep again. Incomplete, looking for right. Well covered by Adam Weissenfels and Josh Mendoza. That'll bring up 4th down. So, boy, this game has, something just happened. Kind of about midway through the first quarter, things got real back and forth and exciting. It's been fun here, but we're still in the first quarter, 1:05 to go. It's been like days of our lives here. It's a soap opera, a lot going on in just a short amount of time.
Well, I think we're starting to see both teams settle down, remembering that at the end of the day, they're back to playing football.
I think that punt was partially deflected by one of the special teamers from Richland, and it goes out of bounds at the 48-yard line. So again, the Bombers are getting terrific field position, and that's something I think the Storm, if they want to be successful as this game progresses, they need to rectify.
Well, I think it'll be interesting to see what the Bombers are going to do with the ball now, especially with great field position. Once again, we saw that last drive, they tried to continue to run the ball, and Skyview had an answer. Be interesting to see if they decide to start tossing the pigskin around.
1:01 to go in the first quarter. 1st and 10 Bombers from their own 48-yard line. 2 backs with Stevens. The give to Stanfield. Nice hole on the right side. And he is stopped just short of the 1st down, it looks like. Might even be a 10-yard run.
There's that right side of the line again. They are just doing a fantastic job. Parker McCary, the lead blocker. Nice carry. It's going to be good enough for a 1st down.
Yeah, they say that's a first. It was right there at the stick, so clock will stop for the moment with the 1st down. 39 seconds. They set it in motion again. This time the give to McCary. Can he turn it upfield? He does, across the 40 and dives out to the 35-yard line, still in bounds, so the clock will continue to roll. Under 15 seconds. And it'll be 2nd down and 4. Nice job of just getting around the edge.
Yeah, using that speed and getting to the outside.
And they'll let the clock run down to zeros. Boy, it's been a lot of fireworks here in the first quarter. But at the end of one, it's 14-7 Richland. You were watching the WIAA 4A Semifinals. 2nd quarter coming up right after this. Home side of the field, the stands are packed with Bomber faithful, hoping to witness the first time Richland will be able to make it back to Tacoma since 1999. Beginning of the 2nd quarter, 2nd down and 4 for the Bombers. Stevens going end zone, wide open. Gavin Brasker, touchdown Richland. 36-yard strike. Didn't take them long to go 52 yards and get their 3rd score. The Bombers able to answer after Skyview gets on the board.
Well, another one of Paxton Stevens' many weapons gets behind the defense. Brasker working on Green. Green unable to make up the time and get back. And another big response from the Bombers.
Adam Weissenfels with his 3rd extra point makes it 21-7. It's back to a 2-score lead for Richland. And Gavin Brasker, or the junior, has made a big impact. First on special teams with a huge return on the opening kickoff of the football game that set up Richland's first touchdown. And then there, that 37-yard bomb from Stevens to Brasker. A good look at that Stevens' arm, which is a good one. He threw that 45 yards in the air, Rob, on a dime.
He really did, and he's been doing it all season long. And it's really no surprises. I mean, this Richland Bomber offense has so many weapons, guys like Brasker and Chapman. We haven't mentioned Adam Weisenfels yet lately, but I'm sure at some point in this game he'll strike, and then you add in those two running backs between Stanfield and McCary, and all season long, really, Richland offensively has just been putting up crazy numbers.
Yep, Brasker is maybe the fifth best receiver in terms of yards on this football team. Just his second touchdown reception. Probably the fastest kid on the team, though. I think the coaching staff will say that is Weisenfels. Boots it here on the kickoff. Millspaw breaks one tackle and takes it out to the 24, where the Storm will try and answer the latest offensive strike from Richland.
And hey, Brian, I have a score update for those other MCC fans out there. Kennewick up 30-27 with 1:14 left and the football against Eastside Catholic.
How cool is that? That Kennewick football team. Boy, another one of these teams over the last couple of years we've had the joy of watching just evolve. Great job by Scott Biglin and his staff and some of the players out there. Going up against the traditional power in Eastside Catholic and in great shape as the 1st and 10 pass is complete from Barnum to Grossman, and they have had a nice connection here in the early going. That should be enough for a Skyview first down. I think for Richland here, taking another look at it, Rob, they really want to try and get a stop here and make sure that Skyview doesn't come right back.
Coleman has been having a big day so far in this first half. Barnum with another strike.
Yeah, he has looked good, and much like Richland, they have a lot of different weapons that they can go to offensively. Quick out pass to Grossman again. Good blocking. He can't quite turn it upfield. Nice open field tackle by Ryan Piper. As Grossman initially looked like he had a block to make some yards after the catch there. Another score to update on the other side of this bracket here. Camas is up 45-21.
Over Sumner.
Yeah, over Sumner. Thank you. I forgot to mention that.
So the winner of that game will play the winner of this game between Richland and Skyview for the state title.
Devon Green able to knife his way through traffic and forward progress. He'll get another first down. That was 2nd and 7. And the little fella getting some tough yards. And then, boy, that's the kind of penalty right there that I think Coach Neidhold was saying our team should not or has to avoid getting against the Skyview team like this. That's an unnecessary 15 yards they just added to a first down run. That one just seems, Rob, from my vantage point, avoidable.
Yeah, so the call is going to go against Kyle Kirby. It looks like just at the end of the play there was a little too much going on now, especially after the whistle. You're right. If you're Coach Mike Neidhold, you're not happy with that penalty.
Yeah, too much pushing and shoving, and now Skyview has it at the 40 of Richland, and they're in business here to try and answer. Good blocking up front for Green. Turns it upfield across the 35 to the 33. 7 yards on that first down run. Flag on the play. Holding penalty there from the 34-yard line. Will back them up to the 44. So the Bombers get a little bit of a break there. Excuse me, it was at the 39-yard line. That's where the spot of the foul was. So they're spotting it at the 49 of Richland. Bring up first down and 19. Bombers catch a little bit of a break after that unsportsmanlike. Barnum quick out to Jeremiah Wright, and a beautiful tackle by Willie Harshaw. Boy, that's one of those things there where you've got about 2 nanoseconds to wrap up 21, or he's going to take off down the sideline. That was a beautiful tackle.
Yeah, let's take another look at this play. Harshaw fights off a block and is able to make a great open field tackle on one of Skyview's top players. Great play there from Willie Harshaw.
They really like those bubble screens to get right out in space where he can make a play with his legs, and great job by the Bomber D there. Barnum in trouble. Barnum going down. Victor Strasser says, "Remember me?" Second time Strasser's gotten in there.
And as we take another look at this, it seemed like Strasser came on the delayed blitz. Looked like a shot out of a cannon, was able to gobble up Barnum, forcing Skyview into a 3rd and 27.
Third and a country mile. Play clock down to 3. And looks like we're going to have a timeout just before they get whistled for that delay of game. Coaching staff did not look like what they were seeing.
No, as we see the Skyview coaching staff.
Yeah, they're talking things over, and I mean, boy, this Skyview team, I mean, the story with them is 9-3 on the season. We talked about it in the pregame a little bit, but those 3 losses, Eastside Catholic, O'Day, and Camas, those 3 teams have a combined record right now of 36-0.
And all 3 teams are still in it.
There's a possibility that Skyview could either win a state championship and lose to the 3A state champion, or lose to 2 state champions in 1 year, which is pretty amazing.
Just an unbelievably tough schedule. And maybe the most impressive part of this Skyview team is that they had a 1-2 record to start the year, 3-3 later on, and since then they have just ripped off a ton of wins, including one of the MCC's top teams in Chiawana a few weeks ago at Edgar Brown.
Yeah, they came over the hill and really controlled that game. Barnum scrambling and had no choice but to get rid of it as Victor Strasser again delivered a little love tap there. This Bomber team is physical and athletic, and I think what we saw on this particular offensive series for the Storm is how well the Bomber D goes sideline to sideline. They go sideline to sideline pursuing better than anybody.
Well, they are just so fast on both ends of the field, and they love to get after the quarterback. We saw them get up in the face of Bothell quarterback Jacob Sermon a week ago. He threw 3 interceptions. So we have another flag thrown in this play.
They get the punt away. Rasper back to a little more salt in the wound, I suppose, of what's been a disappointing offensive series for the Storm. 8:40 to go here before the half. A lot of fireworks. 21-7 the score, but the Storm, I think, Rob, have done a nice job of hanging tough, and they've done some positive things. 4th and 32. The punt is blocked, and it's fielded by Strasser. He's brought down by the punter and quarterback Barnum at the 23-yard line. Big play on special teams. And Victor Strasser comes through again. Had a big sack on defense on that last offensive series for Skyview, and then recovering that block punt.
Now, I don't know if we can take another look at this replay, but I think Barnum may have kicked the ball into his own guy.
But I think that was because of the push up front.
Oh, absolutely.
And so credit the entire line there of Richland, which, you know, as we said, is going to be a big story, how these two lines play up against each other. And by the way, this Skyview line, which has been pushed around a little bit, I mean, they're one of the better lines you'll see in the state, so that just tells you how good Richland is. Stevens going deep. Brasker again, touchdown! 23 yards, second time those two have hooked up. And it's 27-7. This Bomber team is playing loose. They're starting to believe.
Paxton Stevens, another beautiful throw right in the breadbasket. of Gavin Brasker. They hook up for the second time in as many drives. And the quick strike after the blocked punt. Exactly what you want to do if you're the Richland Bombers.
Adam Weissenfeld's getting a leg workout, just not the one he thought, as he is just kicking the extra points here. 4th one of the football game at the 8:26 mark. And for the junior Gavin Brasker, this kid is going to dominate next year in the Mid-Columbia Conference. He is a burner, and they have just started to use him more and more. With Josh Mendoza having a hand injury, he's relegated to strictly defense now, and they've brought Brasker over to play wide receiver, and he has come up big.
If we take a look at the Richland Bombers, as they will take the field once again, but you're absolutely right. I mean, another beautiful dime from Stevens. Brasker working on Green once again.
And Green's had some trouble staying with him. And the thing that's scary about it is I think that they've seen a lot of film on Chapman and Weissenfels and some of the other guys, and so they weren't really game planning for Brasker as much because there's not a lot of tape on him as far as at the wide receiver position, and it looks like the Bombers have really exploited that. There you see Paxton Stevens now with 32 touchdowns on the season. And what a career he's had. 2 years as the starting quarterback here at Richland. Last year they lost in the state semis to Gonzaga Prep, the eventual 4A state champs. Devastating loss for Stevens and all the Bombers. But before today's game, as Weissenfels boots it off here. End over end kick fielded by Wright. He breaks free. Takes it out to the 37. But before the game here, we were talking to Coach Neithold, and certainly after that bitter loss last year to Gonzaga Prep at Edgar Brown here on their side of the mountains, and where they want to be. They were so loose before this game. Remember, Coach Neithold was saying to us, I had to leave the room because I'm so nervous, and it was starting to bother me that they were so loosey-goosey and just taking it easy and having fun.
And he said it's been that way all season long, especially in practice. They keep it so loose. Guys have fun with each other. They get their work done.
They pitch it here on first down to Green, but he is tackled from behind by Braden Powell. Good pursuit. Still gets about 4.
Brian, I have a final score to report. The Kennewick Braves are headed to the 3A state title game in Tacoma next week. They beat Eastside Catholic 30-27.
What a big win there for the Kennewick Braves. Congratulations to Scott Biglin and that entire team. Well deserved. Got a whistle here on 2nd and 6. Offsides. We'll move it 5 yards down the field to the 46. It'll be 2nd and 1. Of course, Kennewick and Richland played one of those games for the ages right here on this field. During the regular season, a 21-20 win for Richland in overtime. Throwing on 2nd and short, nearly intercepted, as I think Ryan Piper was surprised at how wide open that throw was. Intended for Travis Yako. Incomplete, little miscommunication there, and I think Barnum might have been hit.
Yeah, had a little too much air underneath that pass. And as a result, that'll bring up 3rd and 1 for Skyview.
Well, this Richland secondary doesn't let many vulnerable passes fall to the ground. Usually they're picked off. 27 interceptions on the season coming into the game. Quick out pass is caught by Yako. Enough for the first, but only gets a few yards as he's tackled immediately by Ryan Piper, a member of that vaunted secondary for Richland.
And as we see Coach Kaiser electing to stick with the pass. Another nice throw from Barnum. Finds his open guy and moves the chains.
Yako's their possession guy, 5'11", 200 pounds. He's kind of a load. Hand off to Green, a little space up the middle. Nice to kind of run it behind one of his linemen there. That's a few yards as Skyview moves into Richland territory. 7 minutes to go here before the half, and I think if you're Skyview, you just hey, if we can get one more score, make it a 2-score game, just kind of keep it close and keep Richland's, easier said than done, offense in check. Perhaps they can figure things out at halftime and get back in this football game. Quick out pass to Yako, able to avoid a tackle and get another Skyview first down at the 38-yard line. So they've kind of moved away from Grossman, who's been Barnum's initial favorite target here in this game, and gone to Yako, another possession guy with a lot of success.
Yeah, some more safe throws being made by Barnum. Travis Yako on this drive has been coming up huge. They've been doing a great job of moving the sticks.
A lot of patience shown by Kaiser and his coaching staff. Pretty smart because there's still plenty of time. Through the hands of the wide receiver, Jeremiah Wright, and he pushes Adam Weissenfels to the ground. No flags thrown as they kind of got locked up right after the ball went through Wright's hands, and he apparently didn't like being wrapped up after he didn't catch the ball.
Doesn't appear to be a flag thrown on the play.
Yeah, they avoid any sort of unsportsmanlike. If anything, probably would have been against 21 Wright, but perhaps some of the receivers for Skyview getting a little frustrated. Barnum going to dump it off to Grossman over the middle. And he takes it down to the 30-yard line. Picks up 9 yards there. And it'll be third and short, third and a yard. One thing we haven't mentioned yet, but we said in our impact players on offense for Skyview, one of them was Tavis Pinckney, a first-team all-leaguer out of the Greater St. Helens League. And he hurt his knee during practice this week, unable to play. So that's another factor that could be impeding the offense a little bit in the first half here, as they haven't had as many explosive plays as they typically do thrown it. Looks like there is a flag. Sideline warning on Skyview, so both teams with sideline warnings. Kind of expect that here for a semifinal matchup. Both teams are going to be excited.
Lots of emotion. Tough to stay off the sideline.
Barnum operating under center. Hasn't done that much tonight or this afternoon. Play action pass looking for Jaden Chapman. Over the middle, and it's caught at the 6-yard line. Chapman, took a big hit there from Ryan Piper, and he is slow to get up. He is in pain. And a flag on the play. This one's coming back.
Looked like it was a hold against Skyview, but Chapman takes a shot from Piper at the end of that play.
It's kind of a shame because that was one. All right, kind of a shame on that play as a beautiful play action pass is negated by the holding penalty. Here is Richland, though, striking with some big-time touchdowns to Gavin Brasker. And then Stevens again to Brasker again, making it 28-7. Bombers, we're going to step aside. So we're gonna keep it right here. We were gonna take a timeout there with Jaden Chapman on the field, but they were able to get him to walk off on his own power. That is certainly good to see. Jaden Chapman, definitely one of the key cogs in this Skyview football team, and definitely want him to be able to come back out and play. Junior tight end and defensive lineman. He's a first-team all-league defensive lineman, second-team all-leaguer on the offensive side of the ball, and glad to see he's okay after taking a big shot there from Ryan Piper. Of course, that whole pass play, I was saying that before the injury, but it's a beautifully executed play action. I thought Devon Green had the football, and I'm looking up high. And then Chapman made an incredible catch.
Yeah, you got to give him credit just to take that shot and come down with it.
That was a tough catch. And you and I both know that when Ryan Piper hits, it doesn't tickle. So credit him for holding on to the football. 3rd down and 7. Barnum in trouble. Barnum loses the football. But Skyview recovers. Ryan Hull falls on it. And that'll be 4th down. Big pressure.
Guess who brought the pressure? The Mid-Columbia Conference Defensive Player of the Year, Brigham Whitby, forces the fumble.
He has been just a thorn in the side of this Skyview offense. I mean, getting such a great push. You're going to do a little pooch there with Barnum, but they whistle it dead. It is 4th and 18 from the 46. They're trying to pin Richland back. Timeout by Richland here with 4:47 to go. I want to talk things over here. They will have the football when we come back. 28-7 Bombers in command in the WIAA 4A semifinals. (28-7) Richland. Got some stats for you here. Paxton Stevens, Bomber QB, 3 of 3, 125 yards passing, and 2 touchdowns. Talk about an efficient day thus far. There is the punt, caught by Brasker at the 8-yard line. Spins away from 1 tackle, spins away from 2, and he just goes backwards, brought down to the 4-yard line. Gavin Brasker, not one to fair catch it. Probably should have there. Nice punt by Brody Barnum. And the Storm are able to pin Richland back at their 5-yard line.
No, Gavin Brasker is not scared of having guys around him when he fields a punt. Like you said, does not very often he likes to take advantage of the fair catch.
There you see Coach Mike Neidhold in his 9th year as the head coach, Richland High School. Of course, a Bomber alum. Played on the 75 Richland football team. That was the state runner-up that year. They will run it on 1st down from the 5 and get a couple yards. Ben Stanfield goes to the left side. Not much doing there. I think Richland here up by 3 scores. Rob probably wants to be careful they don't make a silly mistake or an unforced error and give Skyview an easy chance to get 6.
Well, that, and I think you want to take as much time off the clock. You're up 21 late in the first half. I think they'll try to run the football out of their zone.
2nd and 8. Stanfield again, a little more space. That's 4 more yards. And the other thing, too, is they've been very committed to the run. You know, I just gave you the passing numbers for Paxton Stevens. Having a great day, but he's only thrown it 3 times. So they've been very committed to the run, and I think that they have really done such a good job up front, both offensively and defensively, winning the battle in the trenches, that why would they go away from it? 3rd and 3. Stanfield, same running play. He'll get the first. As he's pushed out at the 19, looks like a flag. Might be a hold.
Looks like there was some confusion up on the offensive line for the Bombers. It seemed like the skill position guys were moving, but the offensive line stuck.
And a hold on Dante Powell.
It was like they weren't sure the ball had been snapped yet.
So it would have been a first down, and the 3rd down, see where they... So it would have been a first down. It's now going to be a 3rd and long, 3rd and 8 actually, from their own 8-yard line. But the Bombers about as good as anyone at converting 3rd downs, 3rd and 4th downs for that matter. 4 receivers for Stevens. Just the 4th time passing it, feeling a little pressure, rolling. And he gets hit from behind. Pass is incomplete. Great defensive play by Cole Grossman as he knocks it away as he was throwing it. And the Storm will get the football back here with great field position.
Well,
and not an easy job here to punt this one away for.
Looks like there's another flag thrown on the play. So we see so it's an eligible receiver downfield for Richland, declined by Skyview.
And it'll be Jared Whitby coming in to punt it away. Whitby, their backup punter, had to take over those duties from Josh Mendoza, again with the injured hand. Able to get the punt off. A high spiraling kick. Going to be fair caught at the 44-yard line by Travis Yako. And boy, given how far back Richland was, I think they'll take that. But a great opportunity here with 3 minutes to go before the half for Skyview to get some points here. Kind of stop the bleeding a little bit, get back in this football game.
And what a punt that was.
Used to seeing Josh Mendoza, who's got quite a foot on him, with those high booming kicks, but he kicked that one way up in the air and about 50 yards. Barnum pitches it on 1st and 10 to Devon Breen, breaks one tackle, and what could have very easily been a 1-yard loss turns into a 6-yard gain for Skyview on 1st down. They have not had a lot of success running the football, including the sacks. Up until that play, 0 yards on the ground for Skyview. Special shout out to Paul Valencia of the Columbian for firing off some stats for us. But they'll need Devon Green in this running game to get back in the game for sure. Yako out in space. Doesn't get much, though. Good job of wrapping up by Richland. There is a flag on the near side of the field.
Yeah, I think this one is going to come back. I think they're going to get Jeremiah Wright.
Javon Sewell actually on the hold. And Skyview will be backed into their own end of the field.
If you're Coach Kaiser, obviously you want to put points up on the board heading into halftime.
Yeah, 2nd down and 20, though. Going to be a little bit hard
I was
to do
going to
that.
say, you can't afford to have penalties at this point in the game.
Absolutely, good point. Three receivers, I should say, split out to the far side. Barnum play action, looking for Yako on the bubble screen. And he takes it upfield, back into Richland territory. Got about 6 on that one before he was pushed out by Willie Harshaw, I should say, of the Bombers.
Well, it looks like he stayed in bounds, so the clock will continue to run.
Oh, wow, they ruled him inbounds, huh? So it'll be 3rd down and... looks like 3rd down and 15. Big 3rd down here for Skyview. They need a little magic here. Get back in the football game. Barnum is intercepted by Brigham Whitby. He was looking to check it down, and Whitby read his eyes. And the big fella with the interception. Ha! He is having a game.
What a play by Mr. Whitby. The only defensive lineman to read the play correctly. He sits back, reads the eyes of Brody Barnum, and comes up with the huge interception.
First interception of the game. First turnover of the game for either team. And Richland defense had 28 interceptions through 12 games. Make it 29 now. And how about one of their linemen now with an interception? Incredible. Now the Bombers have a chance to add some points. Stevens escaping pressure. Stevens Gonna gun it downfield. Wide open. Chapman couldn't quite bring it in. And a flag. A late flag there on Devon Green. That's got to be an unsportsmanlike. We'll get 15 yards on that. 1:26 to go. Plenty of time, Rob, for the Bombers to put some more points on the board after that interception.
You know, Brian, I'm not sure
maybe it was
which team they're going to call this against.
Well, they said number 8 of the defense, but I think they meant Devon Green, number 7 of the defense. Let's see what he says now. So it's going to go against Alex Chapman. At the end of that play, I saw him getting wrestled to the ground, but you don't know if there were shenanigans prior to that. And those are the kind of plays I think that Coach Neidhold, again, really wants his Bomber team to try and avoid, as you see some coaches there kind of chatting with Alex there.
And what a great job done there by Paxton Stevens to scramble his way free and find Chapman, who he had opened for a second there.
Yeah, it looks like he pulled Devon Green down to the ground. Kind of incidental, though, looking at it. It looked worse initially, but in slow-mo, pretty incidental. Well, that's one I think Chapman really wishes he could have back. Went right through the fingertips.
And that might be one of those circumstances where, you know, receivers are so used to running and getting hit in stride with the football, and you're just kind of waiting there, and you know you're open, and probably seems like the ball's taking forever to get to you. Meanwhile, out of your peripheral vision, you see guys coming at you, and that's one of those tougher plays than it looks.
Yeah, there was a couple defenders right around him, and far be it for me to say that, you know, he should have caught that. It'll be first and 25. It looks like they're having some issues with their math. It should be on the other side of the field there, I think on the 48 of Skyview. This would make it a 17-yard unsportsmanlike penalty. But they'll get it worked out. Coach Neidhold looking fairly calm here as he's trying to understand exactly what the officials are doing. Good opportunity to talk about this Richland coaching staff. Quite a crew. I mean, Coach Neidhold, but certainly they've got some other great guys on the squad. Josh Jelinek, their offensive coordinator, done some great things. Tom Moore, former Prosser coach, now the QB coach.
And you talk about the connection between the Neidholds and the Kaisers. Coach Neidhold's brother, Joey, actually played for Coach Kaiser while Coach Kaiser was on the coaching staff at Walla Walla Community College back in the 80s.
So they make the adjustment here. They actually moved the sticks back a couple of yards to fix things. Handoff is to Parker McCary on first and forever. And he gets a few yards. Excuse me. First and forever. Gets a few yards to the left side. It's about 6 yards.
McCary doing a nice job of cutting up field. Oh, it looked like he lost the football there for a second.
And forgive me there, I was looking at the scoreboard. Under a minute to go here in the half, and it said first down, but it was obviously second down because it was an unsportsmanlike after the incomplete pass. This pass, however, is caught by Adam Weissenfels, and he goes out of bounds at the 41-yard line. 43 seconds to go. Boy, the Bombers look like they were in business to maybe get some quick points after that Brigham Whitby interception, Rob, and now all of a sudden it's fourth and 14, and they're out of field goal range. They might not get anything.
Well, it looks like they'll huddle. And we're going to have a timeout called.
Bombers call their second timeout. Want to discuss some things here? 43.6 seconds left in the half. 28-7 Richland. The Bombers have it at the 41 of Skyview. First turnover of the game by either team, a Brigham Whitby interception of Brody Barnum check down pass. Talking a little bit about Coach Neidhold. Record speaks for itself. Served as an assistant at Richland for 21 years. As we said earlier, the only Bomber alum to become a head coach, and he had a pretty good career here at Richland when he was the quarterback, taking the 75 team to the state championship game where they came up a little bit short. You were talking a little bit some of the other connections. It's amazing the tangled web we weave when we talk about high school football coaches, not just here but everywhere, with Coach Kaiser and his connection to Coach Neidhold, being a defensive backs coach at Walla Walla Community and coaching Mike's brother Joey Neidhold when he was there and a defensive back.
And Coach Steve Graff, the head coach at Chiawana, was also on that Walla Walla Community College coaching staff.
And I'm not sure which was a groomsman in the other's wedding party when they got married, but either Kaiser or Graff. And they will punt it away on 4th and 14. Tried to pin the Storm back, but the punt will roll into the end zone, and Skyview will take over from its 20-yard line with 38 seconds to go. And the question is, do the Storm kind of live to fight another half, Rob, or do they take a couple of shots here, down 3 scores?
You know, I figure you're in the state semifinal game. You find yourself down 3 possessions, 38 seconds left. You got a great quarterback, weapons that have been having great days as well. Why not go for it?
Yeah, they've been awfully close to some points. And this is a team that can get back into a football game in a hurry. Quick out pass to Grossman is short, and I'll bring up 2nd down and 10. But I think probably the biggest struggle for this Skyview team is they just have not been able to consistently run the football. Devon Green has had some success, but they have not been able to do that. I think it's hurt their offense a little bit.
Well, really since early in the first when we saw Green get out in space and run 71 yards for a touchdown, that was really the most running space they've had all day.
Going deep on 2nd down, but a little bit too long, intended for Jeremiah Wright. With him step for step, Alex Chapman. 30 seconds to go before the half.
As we see a nice shot of Brody Barnum. Brian, you mentioned it earlier, he's the son of Portland State head football coach Bruce Barnum. He's done a fantastic job with the Vikings in his 2 years as the head coach for him.
Went to the FCF playoffs last year. Barnum going to run it on 3rd and 10, and he'll get the first down, where he is upended by Josh Mendoza. Mendoza then slapped the ball out of his hands. See, you see it on the replay here. Mendoza playing with a cast on his right hand. Got screws in his thumb. Left hand, excuse me. First down. Pass to Grossman is caught. Grossman tiptoes out of bounds at the 41. 12 seconds left before the half. And Rob, now we're getting to a place where Barnum, who's got a pretty good arm on him, Barnum arm, it's hard to say, but baseball player, outfielder, and a pitcher, you know, he's getting close to Hail Mary territory. Another quick out, caught by Grossman, out of bounds, Richland territory. 8 seconds left. Nice job on this drive, and the Bomber D doesn't want to go to sleep.
Yeah, and I think at this point they might just try to see if they can get into field goal range. Less than 8 seconds left, though. Maybe have time for 2 plays.
Barnum, double clutches, and a little miscommunication with Wright. He thought he was going to break in, and he broke down toward the end zone. Incomplete. 4 seconds left in the second quarter. Storm have time for probably one more play. This first half has been, I don't want to say dominated, but pretty well controlled by Richland. The offenses look superb. Great job running the football, and then Paxton Stevens with some timely passes. Barnum gonna air it out, and it is almost intercepted by Alex Chapman. Pass is incomplete. Looking for Jeremiah Wright, and that'll do it. At the end of 2 quarters, Bombers lead by 3 scores in the WIAA 4A semifinals. It's been Paxton Stevens and Gavin Brasker getting to know each other. A couple of touchdown passes. Brasker's been a big factor. The junior receiver, big reason why they're in front. Halftime here of the WIAA 4A semifinal matchup between Richland and Skyview. The Bombers up 28-7. And right now 2 quarters away from potentially getting back to the state championship game for the first time since 1999. Also the last time they won a state championship. Already know the other half of the bracket, Camas, has moved on with the win over Sumner. Let's take a look at some of these first half highlights. Brian Levitan along with Rob Jesselson. Rob, take us through it.
Well, on the very first possession of the day, it was Ben Stanfield, 37 yards to the house, giving Richland the lead. And then a little bit later on, it was Grossman from his buddy Barnum. Nothing doing there on the end of that drive, though. And then Alex Chapman made a nice play.
Yeah, 66-yard pass and catch between Stevens and Chapman set up the second touchdown of the game. This Parker McCary 2.5-yard run into the end zone. Both running backs with touchdowns.
But that is when the momentum switched just a little bit. Devon Green out of the backfield on the screenplay, 71 yards to the house.
Devon Green, junior running back, stepped up big on that check down. They needed a big play to get back in the football game, but another junior stepping up, this time on the Bombers football team. Gavin Brasker with a couple of big touchdowns in the second quarter. That was the first of 2. Barnum having some trouble. Great pressure. Victor Strasser's had quite a game at linebacker, and then again, Stevens to Brasker.
Brasker did a fantastic job getting behind the defense, and give credit to Stevens for finding him.
And how about Brigham Whitby, who also had a great first half defensively, had the interception there on the check down pass from Barnum that he read beautifully. Bombers unable to turn it into points, but only turnover of the game. A lot of back and forth, a lot of scoring, Robin, the only turnover.
Well, we saw the turnover. We also saw the blocked punt. That was picked up by Victor Strasser of Richland. That ended up in points for the Bombers as well. And they're just seem to be controlling the game like they have really pretty much all season long.
That's a good point, too. That Strasser block punt recovery, in essence, a turnover because it gave the Bombers great field position. But it's been a very exciting first half of football. Both teams playing really hard. 28-7. The Bombers, though, very much in control. And they can taste perhaps their first appearance in the state championship game since 1999. Much more coming up on the halftime show right after this. 28-7, our score at halftime. Richland leads it here at the Lamp. And a very fun game to watch here. Brian Levitan alongside Rob Jesselson. Beautiful fall afternoon, now turning into evening, about 45 degrees or so. This isn't the only action going on around the state, of course. Lots of football games going on. Kind of curious probably how that other half of the 4A bracket turned out. And Richland up 28-7 here. Camas a winner. This game between Camas and Sumner kicked off at 1 o'clock. A winner 45-21. So Camas back in the state championship game. I think first time they've been back in since losing to Chiawana back in 2013, if I remember correctly. So Camas back in. The Papermakers hopefully are going to try, at least on their end of things, to come away with some hardware. Let's drop down to 3A. Take a look at the 3A brackets, and boy, what a win for Kennewick.
I don't think many people were really giving them a chance. Going over to Eastside Catholic on the other side of the hill, Kennewick, the Braves, they go on to win 30-27. They defeat the two-time defending 3A state champs. They, of course, will get the winner of Meadowdale and O'Day.
And that Kennewick team, I just want to say one more thing. I mean, I love the character of that team because we saw them early on. They played a game at Edgar Brown against Chiawana, a team that this Skyview team beat pretty handily a couple of weeks ago, and they got their teeth kicked in against the Riverhawks. And I have never seen a team pick themselves up off the mat like this Braves team has, and just rallied here in the second half of the season. Dropping down to 2A. Oh, quick update here. Meadowdale up 3-0 on O'Day. That's probably in the first quarter. Kickoff in that football game was at 4 o'clock. But dropping down to 2A, taking a look at the scores there. We have Liberty knocking off Ellensburg 35-26. And once again, the Bulldogs just can't seem to break through and make it to Tacoma. Last year, the heartbreaking loss to Prosser. And then it's Liberty Patriots now bumping the Bulldogs out of the postseason.
No, but what a season it was for Ellensburg. They played their hearts out this year, unfortunately coming up just a little bit short. So Liberty will get the winner of that Linden Archbishop Murphy game. Of course, Archbishop Murphy is that team that seemed like nobody wanted to play throughout the season. Now dropping down to a 1A, couple of teams still remaining from the area. Royal, big winners over Deer Park, so they will once again go to Tacoma and look to defend their state title. They win today 56-0. Meanwhile, Connell visiting La Center. That game going on right now. Connell, at last check, was winning that game 7-0 early on.
Yeah, so a lot of area schools still in the mix here. Connell, certainly, and Royal, of course, and Kennewick.
And, of course, Royal and Connell both play out of the SCAC. They played earlier this year. It was a great game with Royal coming out on top. It would make for a fantastic state title game.
And one more playoff picture to take a look at. In 1B, we have Sunnyside Christian season coming to an end, losing in a shootout to Odessa Harrington, 42-40. So, boy, that's got to be a heartbreaker, but it must have been a great football game. 42-40, the score there. No score update on the Nia Bay Illumination football game in the other semifinal in 1B. 28-7, the score. Richland at the half here of the WIAA 4A semifinals. Lampson Stadium, second half action coming up shortly. Stay with us. Oh, what a first half it was for number 17, Paxton Stevens. 2 touchdown passes. Threw for 129 yards. 4 of 6. He didn't throw it a lot, but when he did, he made it count.
And how about the balance between the running game and the passing game for Richland?
Yeah, they rushed for 115 yards, passed for 129. Ben Stanfield, 11 carries for 82 yards and a touchdown.
So he's just 2 yards short of that 1,000-yard mark.
And pretty impressive when you consider that Richland has a running back by committee.
Absolutely.
I mean, it just tells you how effective they have been, that duo of Stanfield and McCary, and then sprinkle in a little Strasser as well. They've used him at times. Meanwhile, for Skyview, there's been some positives. Brody Barnum, their quarterback, as you see fans getting their groove on, a lot to celebrate through the first half of play for Richland fans. Brody Barnum, 13 of 25, so a solid half throwing the football, 161 yards in that one touchdown pass. Half of his yards almost coming from it, 71 yards. Barnum to Devon Green, a little check down pass. Grossman's really been their most reliable receiver, 7 of 59 yards, but I think the big story has just been running the football. 14 carries and 16 yards. And, boy, at this stage of the game, if you can't run the ball effectively, it's going to be a tough go.
Well, give credit to the Richland Bombers defense. Not only have they done a great job of bottling up the Skyview running attack, but they've also kept Jeremiah Wright at bay as well.
Well, the second half kickoff, sponsored by Holiday Inn Express in Richland. Adam Weissenfels will boot it away. Jeremiah Wright and Devon Green back to receive for the Storm. And they're going to kick a little liner. Goes right to James Millspaw. I thought it was going to perhaps hit the ground first, but he was able to run up on it and catch it. Great field position to start the second half for Skyview from their own 36-yard line.
Now, this is a very, very important possession for the Storm. You found yourselves down 21 points to start the second half. If you're Brody Barnum and this offense, you need to come away with points on this drive.
Definitely for morale, momentum, all those things, it's important. One thing about this Skyview team, very similar to Richland, they're a young team, a lot of juniors on this team, but Coach Kaiser was telling me when I talked to him this week just how loose this group is, that they don't let the weight of the moment get to them, and so they're not the type of team to really beat themselves up if they get down early in a football game. 1st and 10. Barnum on a designed run, able to escape one tackler. And what could have been a 1-yard loss turns into a 2 or a 3-yard gain on 1st down.
We've talked about the lack of a running attack that Skyview has had. I think we're going to see a little bit more of Mr. Barnum calling his own number. He came into this game with almost 700 rushing yards on the season.
Yeah, to go along with 7 rushing touchdowns, that's an excellent point, and they've definitely utilized him essentially as a running back. Quick pass over the middle to Travis Yako. He gets the 1st down, breaks the tackle. And it takes Adam Weissenfels and Ryan Piper to push him out of bounds. Yako is a big fella. As I said earlier, listed on the roster sheet at 5'11", 205 pounds. Usually you can add a few extra pounds as the season wears on as these kids get bigger.
Nice job of running after the catch by Yako. Breaks one tackle, another tackle there. Adam Weisenfels rides him out of bounds, as does Ryan Piper, and Skyview offense slowly but surely moving the ball down the field.
Yeah, they've pretty much gone to those short passes to kind of replicate the running game. First run of the second half, Devon Green able to spin down to the 42. Gain of 5 on 1st down, so it'll be 2nd and 5. And Skyview's offense, you're right, Rob, is moving along here pretty good, and they need something, some sort of takeaway offensively. They have just come up onions.
Points and momentum from this drive.
Quick out to Yako again, and he is unable to escape the grasp of Josh Mendoza. And how cool is it to say his name? He's had such a phenomenal season. Remember that Chihuahua game? I mean, he almost single-handedly won that game for the Bombers over Edgar Brown, forced a couple of fumbles, big fumbles on Andrew Vargas, who was running roughshod. And there he makes a great open field tackle.
We saw that big cast on his left hand.
He's got screws in his thumb, still playing football. And that pass there on 2nd and long, almost picked off, intended for Grossman.
Brigham Whitby got a paw on that pass at the line of scrimmage.
I think if Willie Harshaw had been looking for it earlier, he might have had a play on it. Boy, Whitby is having himself a game.
He really is.
Somebody forgot to tell him he was named the Lineman of the Year in the Mid-Columbia Conference, because he's playing like he still has to earn that award.
And it seems like each week we start calling his name a little bit more and a little bit more.
But I think what you see is the deflected passes, the sacks, the pressures, the interceptions. He's always in the right place at the right time. That was 4th down. They were going for it from the 45, and it falls incomplete. Richland will take over on down, so the Richland D able to stand up.
And we talked about the need for Skyview to come away with points on that drive, and they were moving the ball efficiently. And that Richland Bomber defense does a great job of forcing them to turn it over on downs.
Now the pressure's on that Skyview defense, the way that Richland has moved the football. 4 receivers, but they're going to run it. Ben Stanfield looks like he got about 4 yards as he was brought down. Looked like earlier than that, but on top of a defender, so he rolled forward and got 2 more. But I think he's past the 1,000-yard marker now.
Yes, I'd say so. Needed 2, got 4 on that carry. You're right, the second effort. Pushing forward, brings up 2nd and 6.
3 receivers to the near side, 1 to the far. We got Blake Binns in the football game for the first time at receiver. Designed run, Paxton Stevens, a lot of room. And he's got a lot of straight line speed. If he's got a big hole, watch out. They don't run it very often, Rob, but when he takes off with a hole like that, he is a dart.
Yep, the old quarterback draw, nice blocking up front. Gets downfield, has a nice block from Gavin Brasker, as he should, since he found him in the end zone twice in that first half.
He's like, you owe me, bud. But the Bombers, to their credit, their wide receivers do a great job of blocking downfield. Hand off to Stanfield. Got hit at the line of scrimmage, still gets a couple of yards. And similar to the beginning of the football game, the Bombers go with Stanfield.
Yep, we see Stanfield going to be taking a breather as Parker McCary checks in.
It looks like he was a little shaken up on that run. They've been going with Stanfield kind of to start football games pretty much throughout the season. Oftentimes do that at the start of the second half. Second and 7 from the 33. McCary cuts it back up the middle. Escapes a couple tackles. And he is, he'll get the first down. They mark him at the 25. First down, Bombers threatening yet again here.
Great patience shown on this run by the junior Parker McCary. Cuts back and finds a hole. Nice vision up front. Picks up the first down.
I think that's part of his game that's so good, is he has that timing of when to cut it back, and it's something he can't really teach. Just a great knack for the position. McCary again. Gets a few yards there on first down, and this Bomber defense, or offense I should say, is just it just seems like they can do whatever they want. Like there's, whether they're going to run it or throw it, they can move the football almost at will, and that has a lot to do with those big fellas you see up front.
That offensive line has been having a fantastic game so far.
Stevens will throw, great protection. And he'll fire that one out of bounds. It might have been inbounds if he was playing in the CFL. They've got a wider football field. But was looking for Alex Chapman. I think he was concerned about potentially some pressure there, and he wanted to get rid of it quickly.
Yeah, it looked like he was hit as he released that football. And
he had a lot of time initially, and then I think somebody just threw off a block. So be a 3rd down and 8. Promising drive, could peter out here pretty quick. Low snap, scooped up by Parker McCary. He's in trouble, and he'll go down. Tackled by Austin Nolan and Cole Grossman. Boy, that's a big break for Skyview, and boy, this Richland drive was looking good, Rob, and it just, one bad snap and goes up in smoke.
yeah, headsy play there by McCary to pick that thing up quickly. Nice play by the Skyview defense. Once again, looks like the Richland Bombers offense could stay out on the field.
May pooch it here. They are known to do that.
4th and 17.
And they will. They'll pooch it. Going to the far corner. Bounces at the 5 and into the end zone as Cody Yarmo was going to try and down it, but did not take a Bomber bounce. And so Skyview dodges a bullet there after a promising drive. First promising drive on offense for the Bombers here in the third quarter. Going to step aside with 6:57 to go in the third. 28-7 the score remains. Richland leading it in the WIAA 4A semifinals. Bomber fans have a lot to be excited about, but the game is not over. 6:57 to go in the third quarter, 28-7 Richland. Bombers had a great opportunity to get some more points deep in Skyview territory, but drive kind of petered out on them after they fumbled a snap on 3rd and long. And now it's Skyview with the football. They started out on their own 20 after the touchback, and on the first play there, Devon Green with a 4-yard run, make it 2nd down and 6. And they'll need to establish that run. That's been a big issue for them. Only 16 yards on 14 carries in the first half. Green again. Unable to spin away from Victor Strasser.
Looks like there's going to be a flag thrown on this play.
Flag on the far side of the field.
Could be a possible face mask penalty.
Face mask on defense.
Skyview will take the yards any way they can get them, especially on running plays, and so that's a big penalty there. Again, the penalties like that Coach Neidhold of the Bombers really wants his team to try to avoid, especially with a commanding 3-score lead. You don't want to give the offense any help. So now it's 1st and 10 from the 41. Barnum on play action, has to get rid of it, and he does. Finds Jaden Chapman. And he rumbles down to the 40 of Richland. What a nice job of using his size as he delivered a little punishment along the way. Looked like Parker McCary took a little bit of a shot.
McCary tried to tackle him. He evades that, and then big Brigham Whitby tracks him down.
1st and 10, pass is thrown incomplete, out of bounds. Barnum feeling the pressure. How about Brigham Whitby hustling downfield to make that tackle on Jaden Chapman? They have Jaden Chapman listed at 6'2", 180. He didn't look 180 pounds to me. I think somebody might have had a fat finger there on the was typing in the roster. Yeah, that's incredible speed for somebody who's 275 pounds. 2nd and 10, Devon Green escapes and gets 6 yards. Boy, that was a great run by Green as he kind of split a couple of defenders.
Yeah, tough running from Mr. Green there.
Yeah, he's really been the only running back to be able to manufacture some yards as he takes a little breather, and now James Millspaw will replace him in the backfield. 3rd and 4.
Another big 3rd down here for Skyview.
5 minutes to go in the 3rd. There's still time, but can't afford to give away too many more possessions. Millspaw with his biggest run of the football game gets the 1st down and takes it to the 23 of Richland. Got about 15 yards. All of a sudden, Skyview starting to run the football pretty well.
Yeah, they are now running with some authority. You see Willspaw there makes a move, able to stay on his feet and keep driving. Moving the chains.
Nice job, left side of that line. Open up a big hole for Millspaw to run through. Millspaw, a little bit of a bigger, tougher runner, more of a downhill guy than Devon Green. Nice change of pace for Skyview. Arnold goes back to the shotgun. Play action. Gonna lob it up. Near corner of the end zone. Out of bounds. Knocked away by Chapman anyway, but it wouldn't have been catchable for a touchdown. So it'll be 2nd and 10. They've been trying to hook up Barnum and Wright, but good job by Chapman of staying with him.
Great piece of defensive work by Chapman, who of course garnered all MCC honors for his great play as a defensive back this season.
Definitely has a challenge though with Wright having 4 inches on him. Listed at 6'2". Chapman at 5'10". Quick out to right. Got a blocker and some room. Pushed out at the 14-yard line, right at the stick. So we'll see if that's enough for the first.
Looks like he's going to be about a yard short.
Yeah, a little less than a yard. Big third down here for Skyview. He'll hand it off to Green. He'll get the first. And the ball's loose! But Skyview falls on it. Looks like that was 57, Tanner Green, who rescued the drive as that ball was knocked loose. Our cameras are zeroing in on Brigham Whitby. Not sure if he's hurt on that last play or if he was the one who forced the fumble.
I think it's both.
Yeah,
Whitby there, punched it.
Yeah, he's just having the game of his life. He's playing out of his mind everywhere. He'll take a breather. And Skyview take advantage with 74 off the field. And a lob it up for right. Great defense there by Chapman. Boy, he is he's had his hands full with Jeremiah Wright and done a terrific job staying with him.
Yeah, Chapman on that play had great positioning. At the last second was able to get his head turned back around looking for the ball. Was a little bit of contact, but a nice no call by the officials today. A great job there done by Alex Chapman.
Second and goal from the 8. Play action. Barnum will run. Barnum's in trouble. Throws it away. Almost intercepted by Chapman. He was getting chased by Jax Lee, and he threw it away. But didn't throw it away very well because Chapman almost picked that off.
As we see Barnum curl back around looking for the corner, and in and out of the hands of Chapman, who has come up huge on this drive defensively for the Bombers.
Third down. Barnum's going to get hit. Escapes Strasser. Lobs it up. Back corner of the end zone. Out of bounds. And incomplete. Went through the hands of Jeremiah Wright. What a great job by Barnum to escape the grasp of Strasser and stay on his feet. But now it's fourth down and goal from the 8. Down by 3 scores here with 3:50 to go in the third.
Looks like Strasser just came off the edge, had Barnum dead to rights. And Barnum with a great job of scrambling and just put a little too much on it looking for Jeremiah Wright.
It looks like they are going to go for it here, Rob. Down 3 scores with 3:50 to go in the third. They need touchdowns, not field goals. And a whistle before the play can get going. Flag. That's a big break for Skyview there. Gives them 5 more yards. So now it's 4th and goal from the 4. As it's half the distance to the goal. A little bit more manageable for Skyview. Barnum, quick out pass, incomplete. Looking in the end zone for Wright, and he threw it behind him. Barnum took a shot as he threw it. That's part of the reason why. And they'll turn it over on downs. A big stop.
Victor Strasser once again applying the pressure. And it looks like Barnum expected his receiver, Jeremiah Wright, to cut to the outside. He went in. And another turnover on downs forced by the Richland defense.
A good job by Victor Strasser there. And with Brigham Whitby on the sidelines, they'll need others to step up. It looks like, I thought maybe it was his head hitting the ground and maybe some sort of a concussion protocol type thing, but it looks like some sort of a knee or a leg injury with his right leg. A handoff is to Ben Stanfield on first down, and he gives the Bombers a little breathing room. 20-yard run by Stanfield, who is over 100 yards rushing on the day.
Bombers going back to that right side. Stanfield breaks a tackle, rips off a few more tough yards, and he gets the Bombers out of their own end zone.
He's such a good north-south runner, accelerates so well when he has a hole. McCary in the backfield with Stanfield. McCary gets it. And he battles his way 9 yards.
And Brian, for the viewers out there, looks like Whitby is up and walking on the sidelines now.
Probably just checking things out, making sure he's okay. He's a tough cat. My guess is Coach Neidhold wants his MVP healthy. And if the Bombers can handle things without him on the field, he won't be seeing any action here rest of the game. He's second and short, second and a yard. A whistle before they're going to reset the play clock, it looks like.
There's Whitby moving around now off that medical table.
Yeah, I like to see that. He is one of the leaders of this team. And as leaders do, they lead by example and they step up in big moments. So the reason for the delay, just a little confusion with the game clock. It'd be 2:54 instead of 2:34. That'll take a couple seconds to get figured out. Some stats for you in the meantime. Ben Stanfield, 14 carries, 109 yards. Of course, had that touchdown in the first quarter. First score of the game for the Bombers. Second and a yard. They will hand it off to Victor Strasser, and he will dive forward for the first down. Big Victor Strasser gets the tough yards.
Yeah, we see Strasser in there, as it looks like Parker McCary's on the Richland sideline now, getting some help from the medical team.
Well, this Skyview team's also pretty physical. They got some big guys up front. Shiree is stuck at 6'4", 315. Javon Kelly, 6 feet, 260. Jaden Chapman as well, another big guy. Hand off to Stanfield. Breaks loose. Still moving. Out to the 43-yard line. Ben Stanfield. I mean, the running game of this Richland football team, I think, is one of the big storylines of their success. They're 12-0, but they were a little bit more pass-happy and pass-heavy first few games of the season, as you see McCary there just getting looked at or walking something off. But they have just committed to it. And remember talking to Coach Neidhold prior to the Kennewick game about how they needed to commit to it if they wanted to be a factor in November. And they have done that, and it has worked exactly the way he predicted. Second and 4. Stevens feeling some pressure, rolls out, a flag on the play. He'll get the first and run out at the Skyview 45. But that's probably a hold of some kind. So that's on Noah Sprinkle. I believe he is replacing Brigham Whitby because he is the only guy that's not listed as a starter. Oh, no, he is. He's the starting center. My mistake. So it'll be second and 19 instead of a first down in Skyview territory. Get the feeling, Rob. One more score and the Bombers can perhaps put a bow on this thing. Stevens with time. Throws over the middle to Adam Weissenfels, his first catch. Weissenfels avoids a couple tacklers and takes it deep into Skyview territory. Brought down at the 36. Boy, waiting for number 7 to get his number called, and makes a beautiful catch over the middle as he does, and we just come to expect it.
How about this throw from Paxton Stevens to throw a ball like this over the middle to your receiver in stride, and then a great catch from Weisenfels. What a play.
Yeah, Paxton Stevens is having a terrific football game. Not throwing the ball a lot, but he has been very precise, probably more accurate than we've ever seen him. Strasser up the middle, had a big hole there and barreling forward. He just runs angry.
Well, all three of them do, it seems like. You know, all of them have great strength and speed. As we see Ben Stanfield check back in for Strasser.
8 yards on that first down run. It's always nice when your third string running back can get you 8 yards on first down. 30 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Neither team has been able to score here in the third stanza. Designed run for Stevens.
Ooh.
And he ain't going nowhere. Brought down by Skylar Martin. That's probably the last play of the quarter. And it'll be 3rd and 2 when the Bombers continue this drive on the other side of this break. As we step aside here, 28-7, the score remains. Richland up by 3 scores in the WIAA 4A semifinals. Fourth quarter coming up right after this. Bomber cheerleaders. And what is that, the Bomber banana or something?
Is that a banana?
I don't know. Bomber squash? I'm not really sure. Anyway, 3rd down and 3, Richland football from the Skyview 29-yard line to start out the fourth quarter. Storm showing blitz. They hand it off to Ben Stanfield, and Storm stacking the box there. He doesn't get much. Doesn't get the first down. It'll be 4th down now.
Yeah, he's going to be a yard or two short of the first down marker. It'll be interesting to see now what Richland and Coach Neidhold decide to do. Typically in these situations throughout the year, they've left the offense out there. We've seen that tonight. We've seen pooch punts.
Yeah, they generally have not used Weissenfels for longer field goals. You know, if they get inside the 20, they might. But I think at this point, you know, draining clock is as important as getting points. They're going for it on 4th and 3. 5 seconds on the play clock. Handed off to McCary. He tries to fight forward, and I don't think he got there.
He is short.
Big defensive stand there by Skyview. And the Bombers will turn it over on downs. It'll be Skyview football from their own 27-yard line, and they could not afford to give up another score. You know, I said it earlier, I thought if Richland got another touchdown that this game might be over, and Skyview came up big there. Still time. Stranger things have happened, Rob, and boy, we certainly know that Storm have some explosive players on offense.
Well, I was just going to say, that might be a play that we will need to remember, you know, because that was a huge stop for the Skyview defense. Richland had been driving up by 3 scores. Still 11 minutes to go in this game. A lot of football to be played.
All the Bombers need to do is talk to O'Day. They were up big on Skyview and barely eked out a 35-32 win. Barnum going deep on first down, and that one is almost intercepted, as was intended for Cole Grossman. Adam Weissenfels skied to try and snag it out of the air as Grossman was kind of turned around, didn't know where it was.
Nice job there by Cole Grossman. Had to turn from receiver to defender there because Weisenfels seemed to be in the best position. And yeah, Coleman got a hand in there, was able to knock it away.
It looked like maybe Barnum's grip on that ball wasn't particularly good. Designed run for Barnum here on 2nd and 10. The ball's loose. Scooped up by Weisenfels. Richland football. Weisenfels pushed out of the 25. Kind of a read option play there as Barnum kept it himself, and Looked like he might get some good yards, but a little bit careless with the football. Kind of left it open to be stripped.
It seems like Weisenfels really didn't go much for the tackle, just went straight for the football, was able to pry it free. And as soon as you start to feel the pendulum switch maybe a little, Richland's right there to take it away.
Second turnover of the football game, not including the blocked punt on special teams, which was technically fourth down. Handoff to McCary. McCary just running right over Devon Green. Out of bounds at the 17. Got 7 yards on first down, and boy, this could be the dagger. Huge play by Weisenfels, not only causing the strip, but then recovering it too.
We see McCary there gave him a mean stiff arm at the end of that run.
Looks like Franco Harris. This Bomber team, I mean, they play the one-back spread type offense, but that doesn't mean they're not physical or mean. I think that's the one thing that folks who think about spread offenses need to realize. Doesn't mean you can't be a physical football team. They are physical. 2nd and 2. McCary tries to bounce it outside. Not much doing there. Bring up third down. 10 minutes and 30 seconds away from a possible flag on the play. See what that's about.
Yeah, late flag threw in.
And another one, looks like Devon Green might have gotten a little mouthy with officials there, and he's coming out for the football game.
The officials taking a while to talk about this one.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Maybe it was a little bit of a late hit or something, and then Devon Green didn't like the call, and they threw another flag there. It seemed like he was pretty demonstrably saying something with his body language, and then they threw the flag. So. So that's half of the distance to the goal twice. Yeah, so probably a late hit there, as Coach Neidhold's got to like what he sees there, but he was just kind of curious what's going on. So the ball goes from, I guess they had it at the 18, all the way down. They march it down to just inside the 5-yard line. Wow. Yeah, Richland football inside the 5. So Devon Green loses his cool, and this Skyview team that has been so loose and cool, calm, and collected and mistake-free, that's been a big part of why they're such a good football team. They've had some turnovers and then frustration now mounting. First and goal from the 4. Stevens lobbing it up for Brasker. Did he catch it? Incomplete. They say it was out of bounds. Wow, yeah. That's one I'd like to see on the replay. Looked like he got there.
They were going to say that he was bobbling it as he was out of bounds. So we take another look here. Nice pass from Stevens. Ooh.
Perhaps they thought that was a trap or something. Could have been the third time that Stevens and Brasker hooked up. Oh. And 15 to go in the fourth quarter. I said it earlier, and we had some shenanigans going on. But 10 minutes and 15 seconds away are the Bombers from punching their ticket to Tacoma. Handoff to McCary. He finds a little hole to the right side. Parker McCary with a touchdown. And it's 34-7. McCary's second TD of the football game. And that could be the dagger for sure.
No surprise there. They go right to the right side of that offensive line. Eric Davison with a big block. McCary easily gets over the goal line into the end zone. Another big 6 points goes up on that scoreboard for Richland.
It's been textbook for this Richland offense tonight. I mean, they can hurt you in so many different ways, and they have done it in so many different ways, as Adam Weissenfels connects for his 5th extra point, and it's officially a 4-score lead for the Bombers. The fans are standing up, they're stomping their feet, Rob. They are excited.
They really are. Atmosphere has been fantastic. Today, the community rallying around this team. They look poised, Brian, to take the next step in this journey.
And a little date with Camas next weekend in the Tacoma Dome. There you see Parker McCary, junior running back, has burst onto the scene. 730 yards, double-digit touchdowns on the season. And he missed a couple of games because he was hurt towards the end of the regular season. So otherwise the Bombers might have 2,000-yard rushers.
And McCary, the junior out of the duo, Stanfield, the senior.
I think this Skyview team, 10 minutes left. It might feel a little out of reach at this point. But that's a young football team. I mean, they didn't start a senior last week on defense because Skylar Martin was hurt. They started one senior today on defense. And they only have, I think, 3 seniors starting on offense, including their quarterback. So this is a team that's going to be back next year. And I think, whether or not, as you see the low squib kick here by Weisenfels, and flag, probably an offsides there. But look at this Skyview team, and to back up 5 yards. But you look at this Skyview team, and you just think, just something positive here. Last little bit of time in the game. Don't lose your cool, maybe like Devon Green did there. That's natural to happen if you're a younger. Kind of a younger team.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you see the Richland fans singing the Queen song, "We Will Rock You." It definitely has been a dominating performance to this point. James Millspaw fields the, looked like kind of an onside kick there. Wasn't really sure what they were trying to do.
Squib kick.
Kind of a squib kick. And he fields it at the 39 cleanly. Skyview does get some decent field position. Well, if you're Richland at this point, I mean, you almost have the luxury of resting some starters potentially.
I don't know about that quite yet. This is a very, very good Skyview team. They've got nothing to lose at this point.
Well, they have kept Brigham Whitby out of the football game after he kind of twisted, looked like a knee or something. Barnum going to dump it off to Grossman, and Grossman cuts up the middle, gets a couple of yards on first down. It'll be actually just about a yard. It'll be 2nd and 9. And Grossman's been one of the most reliable wide receiver, and kudos to the Bombers. Great job on Jeremiah Wright.
Yeah, they really have done a fantastic job. Alex Chapman's had a nice night.
Flag on the play. So that'll be 2nd and 4 now. Jeremiah Wright, we were talking about it in the pregame. I mean, his postseason has been off the hook. 400 some yards receiving in the postseason alone. And he has been very quiet tonight. Devon Green up the middle. And looks like he got the first. Good job hanging on to the football.
I think they're going to mark him about a yard short.
Yeah, it looks like a knee might have gotten down. The 3rd and short. Nice to see Devon Green back out on the field. Wouldn't want those back-to-back unsportsmanlikes to be his last statement in this football game. He's played hard. Going up against this Richland line, and boy, he's not going to get the first on 3rd and a yard. He gets pushed back. Jacob Stanfield, younger brother of Ben. Pretty darn good defensive lineman.
I'd say so. Makes a nice tackle on a tough runner, Devon Green. And that'll bring up 4th and 1.
They were going to go for it on 4th and a yard. 4 down territory for sure. Brody Barnum gets a tough couple of yards as he ran right at Marco McCary.
Yeah, it looked like Josh Mendoza was in on that play as well. Barnum, a tough runner. Breaks 1 tackle on the 2nd effort.
And not surprising to see their senior leader get the yards they absolutely have to have. Quick out pass to Jeremiah Wright in space, and he can be dangerous. They haven't done that enough, or been able to do that enough effectively. He gets, it looks like, the first down. Yeah, they mark him down at the 36. Sticks will move, and yeah, they just have not been able to do enough of that in this game.
Well, and that was a similar looking play to a touchdown that he had last week. So give
play
credit.
Action pass for Barnum over the middle, and that pass almost intercepted by Ryan Piper, intended for Travis Yako.
I was just going to say, give credits to the secondary of this Richland Bombers defense to be able to keep right in check, especially after the catch.
Yeah, and that's really the only time he's gotten a lot of yards after the catch, when they've done that little out pass, that bubble screen type pass, and I think that's been one of their bread and butters. And I think also missing Tavis Pinckney out with the hurt knee, that's also been a factor. Looking for right, far side incomplete, because then you lose the 2 burners on both sides of the field, kind of spreading out the defense. And the other guys they've had success with, the Grossmans or the Yakos of the world, are more possession-type guys.
Yeah, Pinckney, watching his film earlier in the week, seemed like a real speedster.
First team all-leaguer in the Greater St. Helens
Absolutely.
League, which, as we know, with teams like Camas.
And another junior on this team as well.
Yeah, this Skyview team will be back regardless. Barnum, play action. Going to heave it to the end zone into triple coverage. And it looks like it was intercepted. It was Ryan Piper, making an even 30 interceptions on the season for this Richland defense. We're going to step aside here with 7:41 to go in the 4th quarter. An update, and it's 45-21 final score. Camas knocking off Sumner earlier today. So the winner of this game will face Camas in the state championship game in Tacoma next week. Back right after this, you're watching the WIAA 4A Semifinals. Well, Brody Barnum trying to pull a little magic out of the hat. Instead, he gets a dose of Ryan Piper. Interception number 5 on the season for number 20, and the 30th INT as a whole for this Richland defense. I believe that's turnover number 3 of the night. Am I correct, Rob?
Turnover number 3, you are correct. 2 interceptions, a fumble recovery, and that's not including the blocked punts from earlier.
And off to Ben Stanfield, who has been a rock for them on offense here, running the football. He's over 100 yards, well over it, and got a touchdown. Yeah, one of those interceptions, by the way, from Brigham Whitby. Brigham Whitby, their lineman of the year. Big fella.
Offensive lineman of the year.
And
defensive player of the year.
Excuse me, you're right. I stand corrected. The fun thing about some of these state playoff games, I find, Rob, is just you never know, what you're going to get with the teams that you play from the west side of the state. Play whistled dead here on 2nd and short. It's kind of like a box of chocolates, you know.
We just talked about it!
And a delay of game, 5-yard penalty. You know, at this point, I think Richland just wants to try not to turn it over, but it's just fun because you don't know with Skyview what you're going to get. And as we said, they've played some tough teams, and they've really looked good. And now what's going to happen with Camas?
It's tough to say. Like you said, it's like a box of chocolates. You don't really know what's going to be the outcome.
Great pass there, and great catch, digging it out of the ground by Gavin Brasker. I say incomplete, huh? Oh boy, I thought he got there, but just pulling for the guy, I suppose.
Tough to tell from that angle.
Yeah, he might have just trapped it a little bit. But the paper makers, remember back in, well, you might not remember, you weren't here yet, but back in 2013, they made it to the state championship game, played Chihuahua, heavily favored, and the Riverhawks came back late to win that state championship matchup. So as Paxton Stevens here dumps it off to Ben Stanfield, not much doing on 3rd down, they'll punt it away, but you know, the paper makers, you know, back in the state championship game in 4A, facing another Mid-Columbia Conference team in Richland, and perhaps, you know, that kind of adds a little dynamic to it. You know, the paper makers, you know, probably want to make sure they win this time against a Mid-Columbia Conference team.
Well, it's so hard to know. You know, you have two teams from either side of the state. Sure, you can look at maybe common opponents between the two, but until that ball is kicked off, you know, you really can never tell.
Now, this Skyview team is Jaden Whitby here. Boots it away, gets a Richland bounce. A roll out to the 30-yard line. Wow. So
then, of course, I was going to say, you take in injuries at certain parts of the year and whatnot. And
yeah, certainly a Brigham Whitby, assuming he's not, you know, seriously hurt. He seemed to be walking on his own power, but let's say that is a serious injury. Boy, this Richland team, offensively and defensively, totally different without 74 on the field.
Well, I was going to say, I haven't seen him come out to play defense these last few drives.
No, he hasn't been playing since they took him out. I've been checking.
Correct.
He has not been out there. I don't see him on the sideline.
No, I've been looking as well.
They might have pulled him and brought him in the locker room, get him iced down or something like that just to make sure. It looked like a knee injury or an ankle injury. But, you know, injuries are a big factor to consider.
74?
Yeah. Oh, I'm told that 74 is out on the field. He's still there watching. James Millspaw on 1st down for Skyview. Takes it out to 35. I was kind of in mid-thought here. And anyway, what I was saying is Skyview did play Camas earlier this season and lost 31-9. Their most lopsided loss up until holding call here against Skyview. Back them up. But their most lopsided loss up until this football game, assuming the score remains 35-7. 31-9 they lost, but they were up 9-7 at the half. So, you know, what does that mean? You know, how will Richland, you know, you can look at scores, 35-7, 31-9. What does that mean? Close game. Over the middle. Barnum completes it to Yako and gets most of the yards needed for a 1st down, in spite of it being 1st and 15. It'll be 2nd and a yard and a half. I got to think Barnum has thrown it maybe as much as he's thrown it all season long. Good job by Millspaw as he gets the 1st down.
And we just got a quick shot of Brigham Whitby standing on the sideline with his team again.
Yeah, they're just keeping him out, making sure he's fresh for next week, and that's a great luxury to have, although I'm sure big number 74 wants to be out there with his team to celebrate. What an incredible season it's been for the Bombers. Very reminiscent of the 80-81 teams where they went to back-to-back state semis. The second one broke through and made it to state. Barnum on 1st and 10. Quick out to right. And as they've done all game long, Wright unable to get much beyond the reception. They have done such a good job in the open field making tackles, and that's a credit to this Richland secondary. 4:30 to go here in the fourth quarter, and Richland can taste it. Bombers going to go back to Tacoma and play for a state championship for the first time since 1999 as that pass is complete for the first down, taken out of bounds on the far side. Bombers, big question is, will they win a state championship like they did in 1999 or like they did in 1981?
Another one.
And of course, earlier, Rob, we mentioned that Kennewick pulled off the stunner, knocking off the two-time defending champ Eastside Catholic Crusaders 30-27 on the road at that. And how about that Braves football team?
And real quick, a score update on the other side of that 3A bracket. Last check, O'Day was leading Meadowdale 7-3 in the second quarter.
Now that O'Day football team also played Skyview and eked out a 35-32 win. And I think what you're seeing here is some frustration and a little loss of poise from a football team that has been pretty poised and had a lot of success. And just, sometimes when you get beat up a little bit, you get a little frustrated. And what could have been a first down, now it's 3rd and forever. Looks like 3rd and 27, it says on the scoreboard. But that doesn't take away from what Skyview's accomplished this season. Barnum going deep into double coverage. And Grossman unable to catch up to it. That'll be 4th down. Gotta wonder if Skyview here will decide to punt it away, or if they'll just go for it on 4th and whatever, just for the heck of it.
And Brian, just getting back to the 3A talk, it is O'Day 14 to Meadowdale 9 in the third quarter.
We got another little update there. Cool, 14-9 in the third. So will O'Day be the team? Kind of tough to say right now. Too close to call. Quick little punt here. Boy, Barnum just got that off, and it is a boomer. Caught at the 25 by Brasker, who has designs on returning it. And he's running all over the field. Gavin Brasker across the 50. Gavin Brasker to the 20. And then he's roped down by Barnum at the 50 and a flag back at the 39. Well, that was a ferocious takedown by Barnum at the 15.
Man.
And there is some saltiness.
There are flags all over the field.
Wow, that was like a head tackle by Barnum. Look at this run by Brasker. There is 2 flags that I see. One of them was, I think, against Skyview. If I saw it right on the replay, I'm not sure. We'll see what they say here.
Yeah, there are at least 2 separate flags thrown.
This is a Skyview team. I think that's so we'll just do the whole thing all over again. And in a way that works out better for Skyview, of course, but Here's the thing is, if you're Skyview, and you're down 35-7, easily if this remains the final score, if this ends up being the final score, it's easily the toughest, loss you've had, considering where you are in the state playoffs and the state semis, and then also the fact that it's the most lopsided loss. There's going to be some saltiness, some frustration. That's come out here. I think Richland's responding a little bit. I think both teams just need to try and collect themselves as best they can. Arnhem, another high booming punt. Brasker will not be able to field it as it goes out of bounds. Probably mark that somewhere around the 45 or so.
And as the Richland Bombers offense returns to the field, Brian, I think it's probably a solid time to talk about Colton Michaels.
Yeah, that's an awesome story to talk about. Colton Michaels, who is he is number 67. I believe he's listed as the starting right guard, and if we have a chance to get a shot at his number, one of the cooler stories, Colton Michaels played for the Prosser Mustangs last season, won a state championship with the Mustangs, and then moved to Richland.
Unbelievable. So for the second consecutive year, he'll be going down to Tacoma. Last year, played with Prosser, won a ring. I was talking to his mother before the game, and she was saying that this Richland team really accepted him in, and throughout the postseason, they've been going to him for questions about how do you stay focused, what kind of steps do we need to take in order to win. And she said that the number one question that he's been getting is they want to see his state title ring.
They want to see his ring.
They want to see the ring.
I wonder if he showed it to him or if he said you got to wait until you win. But he was a starter on that Prosser offensive line last season and won a ring with the Mustangs and has a chance to do it again. And here is, I believe that's Victor Strasser on the run. Oh, Jared Whitby actually with the carry. Another thing I'd like to talk about here, nobody recruits the family tree better than the Richland coaching staff. Because we were talking to him before the game, and how many Whitbys has he coached?
7 or 8, I think.
7 or 8, and I was like, oh, they're not all brothers, right? No, they're cousins. There's a lot of cousins. There's apparently a bunch of brothers and sisters who have since had kids, and the Richland Bombers have been, the football team anyway, has been the beneficiary of that. And Jared Whitby, big factor on defense, as well as a big factor on special teams, punting. Now our very own Rob Jesselson has begun the trek down the grandstands. He will be on the field to interview the Bombers once this game comes to an end. So stick around for our postgame show. And the Bombers going back to Tacoma once this is in the books here for the first time since 1999 when they last won a state championship. Tyler Fishback now in at running back. Gets about 8 yards. Under 2 minutes to go, and it's just been an amazing season for Richland. And it all really started with what was a crushing loss last year at Edgar Brown Stadium to the eventual 4A state champs, the Gonzaga Prep Bullpups. They really got manhandled in that game. Evan Weaver and company in colder weather, able to shut down Paxton Stevens and the Bombers' passing attack, and did just such a phenomenal job and went on to win the state title, deservedly so. But the sting from that loss is where this team and this success has spawned from. And it focused the team even more than they were. In spite of some big losses to graduation, players like Lakota Wills, who now plays at Air Force, this team has filled in those gaps seamlessly. They lost some great running backs, Kyle Whitby along with Lakota Wills, and Ben Stanfield, a kid who had always dreamed of being a Bomber football player, never saw the field until this year, and now a 1,000-yard rusher, and a big reason why they were able to be successful in this game, this 4A semifinal matchup against the Skyview Storm. 35 seconds left. 35-7 Richland. Hey Jensen in at quarterback, and he will run it. Hey Jensen will get a first down. Under 20 to go. The Richland fans all standing on their feet here at the Lampson Stadium. Still 14 seconds on the clock. A lot of the players are storming the field, and they'll let the clock run. It's a final, 35-7. The Richland Bombers are headed back to Tacoma for the first time since 1999. A second time's the charm. A heartbreaking loss last year in the semis to Gonzaga Prep, and this time around, they were able to punch it through. Saw the handshake there between head coach Mike Neidhold and Steve Kaiser of the Skyview Storm. A hard-fought football game, but the Bombers, in the end, the better team, and they will advance. 35-7, the final. Our post-game show coming up right after this. You are watching the WIAA 4A semifinals, and Richland moving on. Back at Lampson Stadium, 35-7. The final score here in the WIAA 4A semifinal matchup between Richland and Skyview. The Bombers are back in the state championship game for the first time since 1999. Bombers improved to 13-0, while Skyview ends its season at 9-4. Down on the field with one of the stars of tonight's game is our very own Rob Jesselson. Rob, take it away.
Hey, Brian, we're now joined by Pregame Whitby. Pregame, what a week it's been for you. A few days ago, you're named the MCC Defensive Player of the Year. Tonight, you clinch your ticket to Tacoma for next week to play for a state title. How awesome has this been?
It's pretty freaking good. Like, everybody's like, is this really happening? We're just like, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Tonight, you come out and you had a monster game, as well as the defense. What was working for you, though? Seemed like you were all over the football field.
We just looked at their game plan and how they blocked, and we just shifted me and Jax, the D tackles, and just made them occupy the guards, and so they couldn't do the read option, and just helped us out this game.
Now, we saw you leave in the second half with an injury. Are you going to be good to go next week?
Yeah, it was just repeated head and just hurt my spine a little bit, but I'll be fine next week.
Now, I got to ask you before we let you go. You're a big man. You like to get the job done in the trenches. Tonight, you came away with an interception, though. What was that like? Was that your first year career?
Yeah, it's first in my career. It was just, they had a lot of big, they just scored on that big screen. So it's just hey, that's what they've been doing. On the film we've been watching, you got to watch the screen. And they were trying to invite me on field, and I saw it, and I just went and read it, and I got it.
The last 2 weeks, the running backs have been huge. Is that courtesy to the O-line or just everybody meshing together?
It's just everyone, not even the whole line. It's mainly the O-line just blocking up front, but it's just a huge part in the running backs and the receivers getting their guys and just pushing and fighting every down.
Well, Camas also won tonight, so you'll be playing the Papermakers next week in Tacoma. What are you going to do to get ready between now and then?
Just get ready like there's no tomorrow.
Awesome. Pregame Whitby, thanks very much. Congratulations. So the Richland Bombers are headed to the Tacoma Dome. We're going to try and grab Coach Neidhold, but before we do, I'm going to send it back to you, Brian.
No worries, Rob. It's a madhouse down there. A lot of celebrating. There you see Paxton Stevens hugging fans and friends and really thrilled. What a great game. He had some stats for you. Stevens, 6 of 11, 160 yards passing, and a couple of touchdown bombs to none other than Gavin Brasker. Ben Stanfield, 17 carries for 124 yards and a touchdown, and his ability, along with Parker McCary, to run the football effectively, a big reason why the Bombers were victorious. Let's go down to Paxton Stevens.
Paxton, another huge game for you and this offense. What was working tonight? Another 35 points put up on the board against a very good Skyview team.
You know, we're just confident in ourselves. We did great, both sides of the ball. I mean, it's just as easy as counting bodies, And they gave us the passing game sometimes, and I just trusted my receivers that they'd get open and they'd be the better ones. So I'm proud of them. We did a great job.
You hooked up with Gavin Brasker a few times in that first half in the end zone. He's just another weapon. What's it like just to have all these guys around you?
Oh yeah, he's fast. He's shifty and he's got it all. So I just trust him. He'd get around the guys, and he's just a better player. And I'm glad to have him on my team.
I know you're real close with your head coach, Mike Neidhold. He hasn't been this deep in the playoffs in a long time, not since 1999. What's it going to be like just to be able to bring him to state next week?
Yeah, we're all excited, We're proud of our team. We worked all season, all season. We worked really hard to get where we are, and we're just going to go show them what we're made of.
Now you're a senior leader of this group. You guys are going to go out, play one more time. Granted, it's for a state title. How do you prepare for next week?
It's just another game. We're going to go out and give it all, work this week and study film, and we're just going to do what we do and go out and get the W, try to get the dub.
Meanwhile, how good does this one feel?
Oh, it's awesome. I'm kind of speechless, honestly. It's amazing.
Paxton, congratulations. Thanks so much for joining us. And we're going to welcome in Coach Neidhold as he gets a hug from his quarterback. Coach, let's get you in here. What is it about this team that allows you to be as good as you are? You go up against a good team week in and week out, and you just continue to roll through it.
We grab a rock and draw a line mentality. We don't care who we're playing. We just want to play. And, the important thing is we got another week out of this deal. We get to play again on Monday. We get to go over to Tacoma and finish this thing off. I want to say one thing. I got a sister, Patty. She's been our number one fan. She's at home. She's been fighting this cancer thing. Patty, you're the inspiration of this football team. These guys played for you tonight, and I wanted you to know that. I hope you're watching.
Coach, otherwise, I got to ask you about Brigham Whitby. He's had an unbelievable week. Named the MCC Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive Lineman of the Year, and then tonight comes out and has a performance like he did. How good was he?
That's Brigham Whitby. That's how he plays. That's why he's the Player of the Year for our conference on the O-line, D-line. He's the heart of our team, and he plays with reckless abandon for 48 minutes. He doesn't care. He just goes and plays. It's awesome.
Offensively, your quarterback, Paxton Stevens, we just saw you give him a big old hug. Yeah. Seems like the offense never skips a beat.
We have a lot of ways to get the ball to a lot of different guys. And Pax is back there dealing cards, and our offensive lines kind of come together the last couple of weeks, and you got to give a credit to those guys too. And a credit to our coaches for putting this thing together and having all these plays and stuff that we run. We're just really very, very fortunate.
You've been a part of this program for a very, very long time, whether it's been an assistant coach or a head coach. How gratifying is this one for you?
It's very gratifying, for our high school, for Richland High School. These kids have worked awful hard these seniors for the last 4 years. To get back over to Tacoma, it's so hard to get there, number one, and we've had some luck along the way, but it's a tribute to hard work, and when you work hard and love each other, good things happen, and this is an indicator.
Now it's time to get ready for the paper makers?
Yeah, I guess we play Camas. Yeah, and they're good too. Yeah. They're really good. But you know what? We're in the same game they're in, right? That's got to say something about us, maybe. We'll see. We'll talk about those guys tomorrow.
All right, Coach.
Something tonight.
Absolutely. Go enjoy it with your team. Thanks so much for joining us. Good luck next week.
Thank you.
Brian, we'll send it back up to you.
Thank you, Rob. And hey, that was pretty cool. Pretty awesome to hear some of those thoughts from the Bombers and certainly from Coach Neidhold as well. We also want to say to Patty at home watching that we're thrilled that you're watching, and what a great story, what a great inspiration you have been to this Bomber football team. They've been a joy to watch. They play football the right way. They do it for the right reasons, and this team has a lot to be proud of. The school has a lot to be proud of. The fans, great support. Everybody has been there all season long, and the Bombers proved to 13-0 with a 35-7 win over Skyview, and will move on to Tacoma to play for all the marbles. The 4A state championship against Camas next week at the Tacoma Dome. It has been a fun one this afternoon and this evening. Paxton Stevens and company are going to the dance.